wealthy.
Mm-hmm. Can you hear anything?
Well, there we go.
On Sirius XM.
Everyone be on their best behavior, for God's sake. Phil, we're counting on you.
Gonna get Hubble and Fred on the phone.
I think it's all working now.
Some radio show out of Canada. I just didn't know of them at all. Never heard the name or anything. I guess they've been around a while. And they took some weird shot at us, which they since have explained. Yes, quite eloquently. And our fans just beat the shit out of them on their Facebook page. They will do that. And then Humble and Fred basically thought it was hilarious as they're reading some of the Facebook posts. And it was hilarious. That kind of endeared us to them. And yeah. And we said, what the hell? Let's talk to them. So we're going to talk to them in a few minutes, I guess.
We're here now. You can talk to us now. They can talk to us now. They can't hear us.
On Sirius, but they're also on regular. I don't even know what the Humble and Fred in the morning.
Welcome, Opie and Anthony, everyone, to Toronto. Thanks very much for having us on your show.
Toronto. No problem. I got to turn up the volume here a little bit. Thank you. Where do you guys broadcast from?
We're just west of Toronto. It's part of Toronto called Etobicoke. We're on a street. It's called 30th Street. It's a residential area with some industrial plazas, really. And we're on the second floor of this sort of shabby industrial plaza in a suburb of Toronto.
To give you some perspective, guys, we're about 2-3 blocks from where our mayor did crack.
Oh, nice.
There you go.
Right,
there's some perspective.
This is his jurisdiction. In fact, he was found, there's a little gas station here with one of those quick stop things, having a leak behind this gas station against a tree. You know what? I can almost see that place from here.
When you come here, we'll take you for a Mayor McCrack tour of our neighborhood.
Nice. Do you guys have, in your industrial park area, is there any bustle of people walking by, or is it just basically the upstairs of a crappy little building?
Yeah,
it's the upstairs of a crappy little building. We sent you some pictures to give you some perspective. We actually built this studio ourselves.
But why would you pick there? You couldn't pick some, I don't know, cool area or...
Well, you'll maybe relate to this. We've been asked by Sirius XM in Canada to come to their studios in downtown, but we wanted to stay away from them.
Oh, yeah.
We wanted to be on our own.
Wow, we're on the same page there, sirs.
Yes, we are.
And
we hate being in this facility. We used to have our own little space ourselves that they took away from us.
Look, we're sitting at the table we sit at. I bought in 1984. It was the first dining room table my wife and I bought after we were married. I'm telling you, that's the table we're sitting at right now. And we invested about $3,500 maybe in equipment, and then started this little business.
This could be the first time in our careers, but I think we owe you an apology.
No.
Why?
No, but here's why you don't apologize, because the attention we've gotten from you and your fans is worth all the service in the world. You know, here's the funny thing is we've been fired by radio stations. We were together as a morning show for a long time, back in actually a couple years before you guys started in Buffalo, and we did pretty well. But then all of a sudden we started getting a couple of different consultants and sort of screwing around with us. We got fired and we found ourselves without a job and without a place to broadcast. So we started a podcast. The only difference from a lot of podcasts is we tried to make it broadcast quality, and lo and behold, radio stations started to listen to us do the kind of show we always wanted to do, but we're told to play 7 or 8 stupid songs an hour.
Right.
So fast forward to radio stations approached us. Sirius came to us and said, "We'll take your product." But we said, "Well, we don't want to go work in a building anymore. We just want to stay in this shithole in Etobicoke."
And it's like 20 minutes from each one of our houses, and we don't have to go through the hustle and the bustle of the city. So it works from that standpoint.
So what year did you guys start together?
This will be our 25th year, 1989.
Okay, me and Ant started 20 years ago. I was in Buffalo by myself back in, I don't know, late 80s, I guess.
Well, do you remember CFNY out of Toronto?
Sure.
That's where we worked.
That's where we were. Yeah.
I just don't. I don't remember the name Humble and Fred when I was up there.
Well, that's why we're doing our show over Fred's dining room table.
Did you know Iron Mike Benson?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, he was a good friend of mine,
and he was a great guy.
We lost touch over the years, but he was a solid dude. Unfortunately, he passed this past year. But
nice.
bring it up.
No, everyone knows Iron Mike Benson in that area, though.
Oh, yeah. You know, and the station after he passed away, they did some great memorial stuff for him, too. It was excellent. You know, he wasn't one of these radio guys that was quickly forgotten.
No, they didn't just say, all right, we got to move on. So.
But listen, as far as apologizing, all we can say, and we gave you guys, we actually talked about it on our show, and we didn't really understand this whole Jocktobering thing. Of course, we've learned about it now. But I think I have a question for you two, and I think I'd ask this of your audience. What is the normal routine of guys that get targeted? Because I know you guys don't. You actually didn't tell your audience to do this. It's part of the bit. But what do most guys do when they get this onslaught?
They pretty much
they shut down their Facebook page.
Yeah, they do that, and then they do a lot of crying, I believe. And you guys took it great.
Yeah, it was funny. You guys talked about it. Like, most of them don't talk about it and just make a joke about it. And you read some of the funnier ones, and you read some of the obnoxious ones, and it was very funny to listen to. And most people don't do that.
The genuine feeling that what was posted was so vile and horrid that was cracking me up, man.
AIDS fire. When you read that someone could die in an AIDS fire, it was just funny to hear you read that. What is that?
My favorite thing I was telling Fred on the weekend is hashtag AIDS fire is trending on Twitter, which makes me laugh.
I did pretty well.
That's what I said to Howard this morning, too, and there was that Photoshop picture of him taking me from the rear. I mean, and it was bizarre, and I kept looking at it, and I'm thinking, I should hate this more than I do. What's the matter with me?
It's the really unbelievably racist stuff, the little progeria kids. It's just a smorgasbord of filth.
Yeah, Jocktober started as kind of a throwaway bit, but now we've done it, I don't know, at least 8 years in a row now, somewhere around there.
And then when we heard we were fun, but not funny,
right?
We knew we had to do something.
But I was confused by the whole thing. So you guys had a PD that flew you down to New York just to listen to New York radio back in the day?
Here's the thing. It's one of those stories that we would love to tell you over a bunch of beers one day in New York, because we were doing pretty well in this city. We were number one, 18 to 34. We had a good thing going, and then Stern came to town,
right.
and it hurt us absolutely, because we were that morning show. If you wanted some irreverence, and then he was the Stern. We never see anything like it. So we started getting consulted to death, and this one guy was like, "You guys, we got to take you down to New York." And as we told the story, you heard it the other day.
Yeah,
he was he's a fucking dick. And we were hungover. There's part of the story is the night before I got so drunk, Fred put me in a cab, and I was throwing up out of the cab as it went around a corner. Mm-hmm. And so there we are, 8 o'clock in the morning, listening to you guys, and this PD/consultant was saying, listen to these guys. This is the show.
Right.
I'm confused. We were never on in mornings, though, back then. We were doing afternoon drive.
No, it was afternoon.
It was afternoon.
That's because we actually started listening on the way in on the cab from the airport.
That's right.
That's right. You guys were on in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So you got to understand, this was 13 years ago, and the frame of mind we were in while we were listening. So when we made the reference, we just didn't find it funny. Please appreciate the frame of mind we were in.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, we understand that.
But not everything is funny.
But then you guys were referring to a bit we were doing where girls were pretty much finger banging each other.
It was awesome, yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
Well, and
then you're saying, but it wasn't funny, and I got a little mad because I'm like, that day wasn't supposed to be funny. That day was supposed to be titillating, because you got to remember, back 13, 14 years ago, we didn't really have the internet, so that type of thing absolutely worked on the radio for a while.
It was great, by the way. Let's be serious. We have we're introduced you to some of the people that we work with. One of them is Phil, a chubby Asian boy that produces our program.
Slabo!
Thank you, Phil. And if it would make you guys happy, we'll have him figure himself during this segment.
Well, that's not his specialty, though.
And then, of course, there's Eileen, who your audience was fantastic with. I believe one of your audiences want her to give birth to the fetus and then kill it with a knitting needle.
A knitting needle?
Yes.
And Phil's still trying to figure out how to fuck a bucket of AIDS. How do you do that?
Oh, they're just the worst fans ever.
Well, anyway, so this was the frame of mind we were in. And you know what, to be fair to you guys, it was the guy that took us there. We're looking at him going, okay, if you would let us have somebody do this during our show, we would. We'd rip this bit off. Mm-hmm. But we're playing 7 songs an hour. One of the things, and I know you guys can relate to this, every instinct a program director or consultant has given us has been wrong. It's almost like that Seinfeld episode. If we just did the opposite, we'd be fine. And so we were jealous of your ability to not have to play a bunch of music, to be able to do what you guys do. And now that we're getting to do it, we're having the most success we've ever had because we're doing what we always thought we should have.
Right. And we decided to put it all on the line because, we were playing music when we first came to New York, and we started dropping all the records. Like, these records suck.
We knew they were going to throw us out within 6 months if we didn't start showing some numbers. So we just said, screw this. Let's stop playing music. Let's just do everything we want to do. We'll do the outrageous stuff that'll get people on board, and then hopefully do an entertaining show in between those things to keep them listening. And it seemed to work.
And we figured out the consultant thing a long time ago. They don't have jobs if you're a successful show, so they got to keep coming in and telling you something that is wrong, even if they don't even believe that in their heart.
Yeah.
Well, that's the aggravating thing. I mean, you can see through that so easily. But hey, they're thriving. This guy that we're talking about that took us to New York, we just found out that he just latched onto a couple more stations as a consultant.
Wow, I'm amazed they still got jobs and consultants. So why wouldn't they just send you cassettes of all these radio shows?
You know what? I think they were trying to...
CDs. I mean, CDs were even happening at that point.
I heard you guys ask that question. I think I remember he was trying to kind of get in with Humble and Fred, and he wanted to be our bud, and he took the PD, and it was going to be like this thing, and we'd go listen to some radio. It was supposed to be a fun trip.
We went to, and we got to see the Leafs and Devils, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So basically, you had a Dave Dickless. We had a guy that we named Dave Dickless, and he wanted to be our pal, and he wanted to be the third member of the show. Yeah. And his ideas were horrendous, and we knew if we just did the complete opposite, we would be fine.
That's so funny, because this guy, do you remember one of his ideas? He was like he wanted to bring the staff together, and you'll love this. His idea was to have a scavenger hunt at the radio station. Wait, at night. And when he told Fred and I, he said, "Hey, are you guys going to come back for the scavenger hunt?" We're like, "You got to be fucking kidding! Is that really happening?"
So we lived on the outside of the city, 35 minutes away. So we had to go do the morning show, go home, and then come back to the station that night for a scavenger hunt.
Oh, what kind of scavenger hunt? Where did he hide?
I think we were trying to find our dignity.
It was that the whole thing now, this team building. Well, he was ahead of his time, unfortunately.
Well, we always called it forced fun. Yeah.
And listen, the guys that we work with now at SiriusXM are great guys, and they couldn't have been nicer to us. But I'll tell you, up until including 4 or 5 days ago, when this all happened on our Facebook page, we get this panicked email. And I'll just tell you the truth. The email is, "Guys, don't talk about this." And we're like, well, that would be dumb. And I said to Fred, what am I going to tell this guy? He doesn't want us to mention Opie and Anthony on our show. And we're like, no, we got to. This is the only thing we can do.
Exactly.
And I think one of you made the point. What makes things compelling is the truth.
Right. You know what? That brings up a memory. We were at AAF in Boston. We were starting to do okay in the market, and we got on Howard Stern's radar, and he gave us a good trashing one day and said we were ripping him off and all this crap. And me and Ant were completely excited that Howard was talking to us because he was the much bigger show in Boston. I'm like, it could only help us that he's talking about us because we can handle ourselves. And Dave Dickless actually pulled me aside and said, Howard was talking about you this morning. I go, yeah, isn't that great? We got it. Yeah. When a bigger show talks about you, that's really good. Unless you're a horrible radio show and you don't have any skills. And I go, isn't that great? He goes, no, that's not good at all. We don't want him talking about you guys or the radio station. I'm like, and I remember looking at him like, you just don't get it.
Yeah, he didn't want us to mention it.
He's mentioning our names to a much bigger, pool of potential listeners.
They know nothing.
Because this whole thing went down, I guarantee there's going to be a bunch of our listeners that are now going to, check you guys out from time to time.
Well, how about this story? And it's the same guy that took us to New York back in, I guess it was 2001, 2002. The midday girl at Q107, the rock station in Toronto. Right. She applied to be a Playboy.
A pictorial.
Hey,
smoking hot girl.
Girls in radio. Right. Well, lo and behold, they pick her. They come and do this whole pictorial. The issue comes out, and you know what we were told? Don't talk about it.
Wow. Why?
Because it was objectifying women or whatever. This was a rock radio station in Toronto. God. The midday chick looked great in Playboy, Don't talk about it.
Now, to give you some more perspective, the guy that was his boss is the guy that fired Stern.
Yeah.
What's his name?
John Hayes.
John Hayes. So we're in this building where John Hayes is the Uber boss, and everyone's freaking out. Fred and I were working at a guy's talk station, and we had a calendar where it was just nothing. It was called the Mojo Girls calendar, and all it is beautiful women, and then
fully clothed,
me and Fred.
Yeah.
And we couldn't put this fucking calendar up in our office.
Oh, fuck. God,
I'm not kidding you.
I know, yeah.
And so when we heard you guys talking about us and we saw the email from our guy saying don't talk about it, we're like, you know what, we're just going to do what we think is the right thing, which is to address it. And I think your fans got the message right away that we thought that stuff was funny. We the only stuff we took down is the stuff we were worried that would close our Facebook page down. But other than that, we let it ride, man.
Yeah, but what did this guy think was going to happen?
We have no idea.
Yeah. Even if it was ugly, I mean, that would still bring attention to your show.
You made a great point about the bigger show, Stern. Like, honestly, has there ever been a PD that any of us have worked for, and Fred's heard my theory before, that was actually great on the air? This is the only business where if you're really shitty at what you do, you get to be in charge of all the people that are good at what they do.
They're good at it.
We brought that up in the past. It's absolutely true.
We pretty much have hated every single PD that we've worked for. Pretty much. A couple exceptions that I don't even feel like naming.
No,
but they've all have been just horrible.
And they try to be on the air. They've tried, like, early in their career.
Absolutely.
They were always on air guys. They sucked. They couldn't cut it. So, yeah, they become the people that are in charge of the people on the air. It makes no sense. Right.
And a lot of them manage by fear, too.
Well, nowadays, for sure.
They just want to take the safe route. They don't want to ruffle any feathers. Yeah.
And back to what you're saying there, my point is, when you know what resonates with people, and you guys do, you've been doing it your career, we think we do, we say things that people catch on to. When you're being instructed by coaches and managers that aren't really 100% sure what other human beings connect with, how they tell you to do anything is absurd. It really is the only business where that happens.
Yeah, well, it's our jobs to just figure a way around that.
If you're the shittiest car salesman, you don't get to be in charge of the guys that sell the other cars.
And the problem now, and it's happening in Canada, which happened in the States prior, is that they're taking one PD now and making him PD of 4 and 5 stations. And the problem is they don't have time for anything. And what's happening is they're losing touch with what's going on out there. So then they're turning around and instructing their announcers to do things when they themselves are out of touch because they're spread so thin.
They completely ruined regular radio. So,
all right,
it's still doing okay. Oh, by the way,
so we all agree radio's stupid.
Are we being funny enough for you?
Okay, all right. Fuck. Is there any part of this conversation we can put on stage? No.
It doesn't have to be funny. It could just be fun. And luckily, our show is neither. Exactly.
Wow, man. You guys are on the same page as us, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's why we knew you'd be kindred spirits. We can whine about radio for days and often do.
Yeah, we're pretty much only a few months away from broadcasting from a strip mall ourselves. So.
You have a home here. Did you guys look at the pictures of where are we broadcast? We actually built this studio, Freddie and I and some of the interns. We had another office, and we moved here about 4 months ago in this building. And actually, you know what? It's not a bad space. You'd be surprised. And the quality of broadcast, whatever that comes out of here, isn't too bad.
Right. Oh. So what, you're on XM Canada? Are you on any regular stations or?
Well, we're on Canada Laughs, which is 168 on Sirius XM.
Kind of like Ron and Fez are on Raw Dog.
Yeah.
So we do a show in the morning, 7 to 9 live Eastern, then they repeat it. We're also on some terrestrial stations as well.
Yeah, we got a couple of terrestrial stations that take the show and rerun it.
Good for you.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool. All right. Hey, guys, great talking to you, actually.
Yeah. I have no issues with you guys.
We were
it was just an excuse to kill an hour.
Believe me, we get that now.
And I felt bad about that because I was the guy, are these guys that hard up for content? I should have never said that. Because
take that with you. You were just an hour.
Yeah.
Just an hour.
No, because Howard and I often talk about that. We've always wanted to do a show where we could take anything and talk about it for as long as we want. So I was sort of contradicting myself when I said that.
I was just hoping they weren't going to listen to one of our shows where we talk about Costco for 45 fucking minutes.
Yeah.
I just want to say, Eileen, do you want to say anything to Opie and Anthony? Because Eileen,
suck it.
Eileen got the worst of it.
No.
And just for the
Eileen,
record,
good gosh, don't say that.
Eileen, were you okay with everything that happened on Facebook?
oh yeah, you know what? I mean, it's part of radio. It's part of the talk and everything. It doesn't bother me, and I don't. Normally, I talk more about fucking a ham than baby clothes. It's only that I'm 9 months pregnant.
Okay.
So
all right, just don't
just
don't hold the guys back. Don't put up those yield signs.
Look out.
Don't say
down,
stuff like, okay.
And
our guys.
Now, to be fair, Phil, a lot of guys on Twitter are calling you P-Rock now.
I don't usually sound Asian, but thank you, Opie. Thank you, Anthony. Okay.
Yeah, keep that dignity up.
I honestly, you guys, we could do 45 on this kid because
I'm trying to find.
What are you looking for there?
Where's E-Rock? All the things Eileen shouldn't be doing.
Oh, you got the whole template?
Do you have another minute, or you guys?
No, we got all the time
in the world.
Where's E-Rock?
Yeah, where is he?
Oh, E-Rock. He's lumbering somewhere.
Yeah.
Trudging
heavily down the hallway.
yeah, if he's got a free hand, get him to do his job there, right?
Yeah. We can never. Oh, look, he's lumbering up the hallway.
God, he's so slow.
Yeah, the worst.
He swings his big arm to give the illusion of speed.
There's nothing going on.
Where are the whole clips?
Come on, E-Rock.
I want to show Eileen. I want to teach her a little something.
What she shouldn't be doing on a daily basis. Is that it? You got it?
Hold her. Okay, all right, I got that. All right. Eileen, you listening?
Yeah, I sure am.
All right.
Here.
Wait. Hold on. Oh. Okay, here they are.
Oh, wait. No, come on. No, it's not funny.
These are the things you shouldn't be saying.
Yeah.
Oh, God,
Stop
no.
it. Come on. I don't get it. I just wanted to be part of the group.
Oh my God.
The Eileen soundboard.
Oh.
Anything like that? Is there any...
No.
Do you feel she jumps in and holds you guys back, keeps you in check?
No.
You guys, listen, I'm trying to find the Eileen soundboard. You should hear the shit that comes out of her mouth. I would if we had I can't find it. Doesn't matter.
No, my personal favorite is you guys. Yeah, no.
Oh, stop it now, guy.
No, I'm generally the one that takes it to the place that is a little bit grosser than where we'd already been.
That's good.
We've had a couple of women over the years that have worked with us, and of the many that have done what you just played, Eileen and another woman named Sandra Plagakis are by far the best. And on an average day, the line of the day goes to her. Again, I should have prepared something here because that would have been the thing to do, but I'm a lazy.
It's okay. You know what? We'll find it and they can play it every hour and tomorrow.
I will tell you this. You talk about bringing attention to the story about Stern mentioning you. Our two most downloaded shows of 2014 were the 2 days you guys talked about us. So thank you very, very much.
There you go.
Look at that spontaneous.
It'll lead to some listeners
helping out.
Yes,
now, guys, let's not make fun of people.
That's brutal.
Words hurt.
I had to save the bit. I know it wasn't doing as well as I was hoping.
Words do hurt.
I had to save it there.
But it was fun.
It was fun.
Before we screw this up, why don't we...
all right. Nice talking to you guys.
Opie and Anthony, a real pleasure. And honestly,
Thanks,
the next
guys.
time we're in the city, we're going to take you guys for a beer. We're going to have Phil Finger himself, and it's going to be fantastic.
Let's go into a hotel room and listen to some New York radio.
Yeah, right.
Like a piss.
And by the way, I know you guys have your own channel, which is super impressive. And if there's some reason for some point you need some Canadian content on there, and they're gone.
Oh, that's nice.
Shit.